So you want to be a social media manager and don't know where to get started? Well, I am here to help. Gonna dive right into it. I'm Maya. I am a social media manager. I have worked both in agencies and freelance, working with massive clients that are global and startups and smaller clients that are solo entrepreneurs and freelancers themselves. So I wanted to do a video talking about how to get started in social media management. To get started, I always think YouTube is the first place to go. There is so much that you can learn on YouTube for absolutely free, and there are so many people out there that are very talented in social media management. I will be sharing some of my tips and tricks to get started, and like if you are a social media manager, to continue. So make sure you subscribe because I'll be sharing a lot more on that side and building your career in social media management. In terms of people that I've learnt off as well have been Latasha James, who is amazing, is based in Canada or the US, I can't actually remember. Katie Steckley, I think her name is. I am so sorry if I'm butchering these, I should have written them down, but I will link their accounts in the description below. And as well, like there's some others like Ellen McKenzie, I've learned a lot off of her as well. Now there are so many courses out there as well. I have been a part of Latasha James's. I have learned a lot from Ellen. I haven't been on her course. And in terms of freelancing, I have also worked with Chelsea Ram, who has helped build my confidence in my business and what I do and developing that side. So I definitely think there are plenty of resources out there. I will share some of my favorite ones below that will hopefully come in good use for you to get started in terms of resources. In terms of tools that I use, my favorite tools are Later for scheduling, Meta Business Suite for analytics, and in-app for Instagram especially. And Later I do use for some analytics as well because it goes across all platforms. So LinkedIn, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, I think I've listed them, X, that was formerly Twitter. I think that's all of them that are on there. So yeah, that's a great place to start, is looking at some scheduling tools. There are loads out there. I have worked with Hootsuite, Sprout Social, Iconosquare, Loomly. I haven't worked with Metrical, but apparently it's free, so that's definitely one to try. But if you can't invest as well, it's always good to look at Meta Business Suite. It is free and you can roam around there because it's literally made by Facebook. I would say that it's not completely user-friendly, being completely transparent, and just my personal opinion. But they have courses on there as well. So if you want to learn more about paid ads, they've got courses on there, which I have done. I do want more training on that, so I have been looking at courses outside of Meta to learn a bit more about paid ads in general. And then I'm trying to think, so when I started, I was doing social media so I went to film school and we were making short films, and I was taking pictures and building the social media for those films, whether it was to get funding or just to share the journey or for festivals. And I definitely think starting out and working on a portfolio, whether it's mock clients, whether it's working with friends that have businesses and doing like a short period, so you're doing it for say a month, 2 months, managing their account for free, just so then you can build up your portfolio. However, yeah, probably I would say a max a month. Don't be like working for free for too long. I think having an established portfolio is something you grow over time, but being able to show that you can do it yourself is important. That could literally be if you've grown your account, you can use that, but people always want to see something physical as well. And then in terms of job roles, there is so much opportunity, whether you're working in-house, freelance, in an agency, or building your own agency, but that comes with time. So I started out working freelance, but that was building my portfolio and it was on the side of other things. When I started doing it full time, I worked in an agency, and agency is great for starting out. You end up learning so much because it's so fast paced. There's multiple clients, so you learn the different tones of voices, the different ways of working with different clients. And from the people in the agency, there's usually graphic designers. I say usually in social media agencies, there's graphic designers, there may be a paid specialist, there might be someone who does websites, like everything. And it's a great opportunity to learn off of those people, and you kind of dive head first, but those people are amazing to learn from. There's a range of experience in those roles as well in terms of people that are involved in the business. So that would be my recommendation for starting. I definitely think as well you can transition from agency to in-house. It's quite jarring going from in-house to agency purely because there's so much that goes on in agency. It's so fast-paced and it's not always like that in-house. In terms of equipment, this is like a real whistle-stop tour, whizzing through all of these details. I am happy to go through in more detail in different videos. Just leave me a comment below what you'd like to go through in a bit more detail, and I'm happy to in another video. In terms of tools, your phone is absolutely fine to use. It is what people view everything on. There are specific settings that do help make the content better, which I can share at a later date. But use your phone. Like the phones now are so good in comparison to before when everyone had to use a camera. I wouldn't let that limit you. Editing tools, I would say Lightroom is free on your phone on the app, so that's a great one for photo editing. And then for video, you can now do it in-app for Instagram or TikTok, as well as CapCut, which I'm sure most people have heard of. And iMovie is free as well for longer form videos. So example, when I'm doing YouTube, I use Final Cut Pro. I paid for that when I was in film school, and it's like a lifetime payment. So once you pay for it once, you've got it for life, which I thought was amazing. It is quite a lot to pay up front, but it just means that as it develops, I still have access to it. What else to go through? So we've gone through different types of jobs. Working freelance is good, but working out your fees is like a whole nother ballpark. So I definitely think when you're starting out, it's worth considering working in a business, gaining as many skills as you can in that business before going freelance. I know I did it the other way around, but I had a full-time job when I was doing that. I was doing my internship in TV production as well as working at Sainsbury's, more or less full-time, while doing social media management on the side. Yeah, starting out, I definitely think it's worth gaining the skills in an agency. In-house, so I haven't worked in-house. My friend has just moved to working in-house. The benefits to that is it's less stressful than an agency. You're literally focusing on one brand rather than like I manage, if I count the different markets, 7 different brands, technically 3 brands, but they have markets in elsewhere as well, so like UK, Germany, Netherlands, Canada, so it covers 7. Whereas in-house, you will focus on one, literally the brand that you're in. You get a bit more insight into what's going on in the business just because you are in the business anyway as part of that entity, and there will be a whole marketing team there and a whole overview. There's just a lot there that you're more embedded in the company compared to agency, which is outsourcing it. The downside, I guess, the con to that is that usually there's a very small social media team. There's usually old school marketers that might not know as much about social media, which can mean when you're starting out you might not gain as much knowledge in terms of social media marketing as you would in agency. The benefits are, like I said, you're in the company. Sometimes it's best pay being in-house, less stress because you're only focusing on one brand. And what else to cover? I always think it's worth getting started. Like, at the end of the day, social media is social media. It's ever evolving. There's always an opportunity to learn, so there's never going to be a right time to start. I definitely think it's not too late to get into it either. Just because it's been around for a while doesn't mean that there's no point in starting now. There, like I said, it's ever evolving. There's so much new stuff constantly coming out, algorithms constantly changing, that there is plenty to add to that and be an expert in. You, I guess, in terms of niching, which would be down the line, you can niche in literally one platform when you go to being freelance, or if you decide you just want to focus on the paid aspect or just the organic aspect, there are roles that you can do that. And it is the roles themselves are developing. At the minute, there is social media manager will cover quite a lot, but it's getting to a point where we have paid specialists, where there are people that might specialize in reels, content creation side, rather than just graphic design. That the content creation could be going and capturing content purely for Instagram or purely for Facebook, so you wouldn't necessarily have to be a photographer. If that's something that interests you, there are roles out there that are specifically that. Same as focusing on strategy, focusing on community management, so replying to comments and DMs. There is so much that it's expanding to, that again, there's going to be so much more in the years to come of what social media marketing looks like. Instead of it just being like a few roles, I can definitely see it being multiple. And if your account isn't successful, your own personal, that doesn't mean that you're not going to be good as a social media manager. It's so different managing a brand's account compared to your own. So don't think that that's at loss or that you have to share your personal account. You really don't. It can literally be for yourself. And yeah, that's kind of it as an overview. I am definitely happy to go through my experience in another video. If you're interested in or have any other questions, please let me know below or DM me on Instagram or TikTok. It's at Maya Kipping. And yeah, I would love to hear from you guys. Are you guys starting out in social media management? Are you in social media management, or are you just curious and learning a little bit more? Let me know. I'm always happy to connect with you guys, and I hope to speak to you soon.